All right, statistics, kids. We're going to start chapter 3 today. Here's section 3.1. It's an introduction into collecting data. Now, this whole chapter is going to feel very different. It's going to feel like a social studies chapter because now that we've learned how to analyze data and we're done with that, we're going to spend one chapter learning how to actually get data so that the numbers that we have are appropriate. So this is basically a chapter on how to go and get data so that the number of the information you get actually represents the entire population you're looking to estimate. Okay, that sentence will make sense later on. Here we go. How to complete the statistical problem-solving process. Okay, so clearly I was real tired a couple years ago when I wrote This Is How We Do It, but you can sing the song in your head if you want to. Number one, you have to ask questions. Okay, you got to clarify the research problem. So, restate the problem kind of. This is the scientific process all over again. You learned this in what, 5th grade? Clarify the research problem and ask one or more valid statistical questions. Now, we got to figure out what that is. One of your homework problems is going to be, is this a valid statistical question or not? And I got a definition about that down here. Number 2, collect data. We actually have to go out and get data and have that data represent a larger population. Design and carry out an appropriate plan to collect the data. Number 3, analyze the data. Well, you've already learned how to do quite a bit of that. Use appropriate graphical and numerical methods to analyze the data that you got after you went and got your data to answer this valid statistical question. So everything we learned in chapter 1 and 2 is basically just lands in part 3 of this bigger project. You see what I mean? Number 4, interpret your results, and you should draw conclusions based on data analysis. And I can't say this enough, within context. They're kind of like story problems in statistics. You guys have a better feel for that now. So your answer, it can never be just 12. You got to say what your answer is and how it relates to the context of the problem you were given in the first place. So what's a valid statistical question? A valid statistical question is based on data that vary. Okay, so what I mean by that is the answer to a valid statistical question has to be something that could be different if I re-ask the question to different people over and over. Okay, that's what I mean by that. So we're going to go to page 182, and I'm going to answer to be or not to be, whatever that means. Problem A, B, and C. Determine if each of the following is a valid statistical question. Does it come from data that can vary? Okay, here we go. Number 1. How much money does Mr. Tagawa, you can read it in your book, Tagawa maybe, have in his wallet right now? Is that a valid statistical question? The answer is no. That's how I'm spelling theirs today. That's embarrassing. For God's sake. There's only one answer. The amount of money that he has in his pocket, there's only one answer to that. It doesn't vary. So for that reason, we'll just put like a little vary with it. It doesn't vary, so it's not a valid statistical question. Part B. How long can students at your school hold their breath? Okay, well, I'm going to say yes to this one because different students can hold their breath for different times. So if I ask a different group of 10 people, for example, like think about having your phone set on, like a stopwatch, and you just say hold your breath as long as you can, and you ask all 10 people to do it, and then you stop it. You could take an average of those 10 times. You would get an X bar every time you did it. Well, if you ask a different 10 people, you probably get a different X bar. That is an answer that will vary for sure. Part C. Do most U.S. adults engage in vigorous exercise at least once a week? Do most adults engage in vigorous exercise at least once a week? Once again, I'm going to say yes because answers will vary with different people. I have better words for that, but you don't know all those words yet, so I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Yes, because answers will vary with different people. And if the answers vary, then the data varies. All right, go to page 2.